Good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of Inside the MFL. I'm your host, Richard Miles, founder, chairman, and CEO of the Minor Football League. We're going to have a great show today. I'm looking forward to our guests coming on. And I just want to say, I want everybody to understand this pandemic that's out there. Please take it seriously. A lot of people are dying from this, and don't be misled in thinking that it's over with, because believe me, it's not. And I just want everybody to be cautious and aware and be smart when you go out there. Someone of the senior years myself, I always tell people, hey, take precautions. It's not over until they say it's over, unless we can really see some improvement on this. So right now, I'm excited. I want to get into the show right now. Like I say, I want to welcome my guest today, Mr. Kenny Lucas. Everybody know, well-known coach in the college ranks as well as high school. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How you doing today, Richard?
Oh, I can't say it. Kenny, you could tell everybody close to each other when people call me by my first name. I just don't let nobody call me by my first name, but I have so much respect for you.
All right, Mr.
And all
Miles.
and all the things you have done, in the high school and college ranks. I remember my first encounter with you. You probably don't remember, is when you was coaching down at Gonzaga, and I came down there, and you was just the epitome of a gentleman. You say that, I say, how you doing, coach? And you didn't know me from Mars, but yet and still you were very nice and very respectful. You say, yeah, coach, and I said, congratulations. And we talked, we had a brief conversation, didn't want to bother you because I know you was getting ready. Did an outstanding job there. For our listening audience, kind of introduce yourself briefly.
Well, again, it's my pleasure to be on with you, Mr. Miles. It's certainly great, in these times of this distant learning right now. This pandemic you alluded to a little while ago, and that's just social distancing. It's just a weird time for us right now. But again, I'm honored and privileged to be here, spending a little bit of time with you this afternoon. Just a very, very brief background, and I struggle to talk about these things about myself, but I've been in this football business, this coaching business / mentoring business for a little over 30 years now, and each year has been an honor and a privilege for me to have the opportunity to work with student athletes. And that's really what my life is all about, trying to provide an opportunity for those young men to excel in the things that they want to do, be it in the classroom, be it on the football field, and certainly in life. So that's what I try to espouse, and all of my teaching responsibilities, all of those coaching / mentoring responsibilities, just the opportunities to engage with young men as I have over the years. And, you mentioned I've coached on the high school level. I've coached on the collegiate level as well, and was very, very blessed and fortunate just last summer to participate in the fellowship in the National Football League. So again, just, it's been really a great run, great opportunity, and I'm blessed to have been exposed to all the opportunities that God has provided for me.
Absolutely. And I also want to state, he understates himself and the things that he accomplished. And I think that was overdue, that you had an opportunity to intern coach in the National Football League. You're one of the few people I can honestly say should have been there. And not only just
that.
in intern capacity, but coaching. I mean, if you look at the body of your work, assistant head coach at Morgan State, Howard University. These are some of the things that the MFL had their eyes on people such as yourself. That's why we have you here as a consultant for the MFL, because we want part of the people like yourself around to kind of help us bridge the gap in terms of most of these young players. And we understand that a lot of people dream of going to the NFL. But let's go back to what I say, dream of going to the NFL. There's nothing wrong with dreaming, Coach, as you know, but sometimes you have to wake up from the dream and reality set in,
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I always state that, it's not that these kids are not good enough to play in the NFL. There's not enough room. Thousands of kids come out every year. I don't watch the NFL draft because I'm in the business of the MFL. And I have a great relationship with the NFL. I played there, but what's more importantly is people like yourself. The MFL is the laboratory of changes. We want to bring former players from the field to the front office, being GM position as well as head coaching uh, positions here. And I'd like for you to expand on that a little bit because you've been around me a few years, and I beehive up there looking for you at Howard when I heard they were making the changes, and you have been a great help to the MFL and all the things that we do. Uh, it's because of you, and hopefully we can continue that, um, getting that in. So these are the type of things that I want to convey to people about you.
Well, I appreciate all the accolades and all the well wishes and good things you have to say about me, Richard. I'll make sure I get that next check in the mail to you uh, for all the good things to say. But you talked about the laboratory of change and what the MFL represents. It's just a great opportunity for young men to continue what they enjoy doing. As you also stated, how there's limited space in the NFL, and we all know that everyone can't play in the NFL. So the MFL provides that opportunity for these guys to continue enjoying the game of football. As we know, it's a great lesson. It's a great tool in our lives. It served me well, and I attribute my experiences as a player and as a coach in terms of creating who and what I am to this day. It's a game that teaches us a lot of life lessons. And for a
Right.
young man to finish his collegiate career and to be out in la la land, for lack of better words, that's why the MFL is here. Again, the NFL is going to provide some opportunities and some doors open, but as we know, those doors get closed pretty rapidly, and the MFL is there to hopefully provide that light at the end of the tunnel for some of these young men that they wish to continue their endeavors. And who knows, by continuing those endeavors with the MFL may provide an opportunity down the road through the NFL. So, I think what you're doing, your organization certainly been providing a lot of great opportunities for these young men and certainly will continue to do so.
Absolutely, and we also want to get rid of that mystique that this is not semi-pro. There's no such thing as semi-pro. Either you're pro or you're not. That was just an
Sure.
ignorant term to justify sandlot football. But what I want to point out to these young men that's listening to our show, because you're going to listen, the NFL draft is over. Then realize it's going to set in. No, this league do not pay any money. Because we can't. We're the only developmental professional league in the country. We got that. If they recognize that up on Capitol Hill and the NFL, then it tells you we must be doing something right. But I also want to understand we do have things in place for these young men. We have $1 million worth of insurance on the players to cover them. We take care of the travel and the hotel. We provide the uniform. So, and it gives you a platform that you don't generally find outside of college or professional football. A 10-game schedule. I guarantee the NFL scouts will be there. I know most of them. So, you saying that, you're waiting for the draft to be over. Hopefully you'll get a call. So what happened when they don't get that call? Also, they have to understand that you still say to themselves, and I believe in not giving up. Well, I'll try again next year. The only problem with that, coach, is you 1 year older. You got other kids coming out of the universities as well. And you just sit home on the couch. And no matter how much weight you lift, how much running you doing, it's not football speed and time. Am I right or wrong? So these are the
absolutely.
type of things, right? So these guys, why sit home on the couch and wait when you can play a whole season and can be seen?
Well, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. You talk about those guys and finishing up their playing, and again, a lot of them sit around. What's your motivation during that time to keep your body and your mind in the shape that it needs to be? 365 days is a long ways away. So those guys that do not get the opportunity to get drafted in the NFL, maybe sign a free agency contract. Now you have the MFL, as you mentioned again, and it's there, and it's not a fallback, but it's an opportunity to continue doing what you enjoy, but also to continue progressing yourself so that when and if the NFL does come back calling, you can still be in good mind and good body to go and excel and enjoy doing the things. And at that time, if it's meant to be, to get paid to do it. But the MFL, again, you mentioned it's not a pay opportunity. But if you're gonna get involved with this sport in this game, as you know, Mr. Miles, I mean, you got to do it because you love it.
That's right.
And that's why I think most people got involved and still are involved to this day. Sure, the NFL, those guys get paid a few pennies for doing what they do well. But as we know, you still have to love this game to be a part of it. So that's when the MFL comes into play and provides that opportunity for those guys who just didn't land that opportunity with the NFL yet to still continue to progress, enjoy the game that they like playing, and hopefully, if it's meant to be once more, then that opportunity may present itself. But nonetheless, you're out there, you're exercising your mind, you're exercising your body, and you're playing a sport that you love.
Absolutely. And I also want to state, well put, Coach, that it's impossible. And some people might not agree with me. Some people might get mad at me, but I really don't care. I'm who I am. And always been that way, Coach. It's impossible for you to see all the best players in the country. It's impossible. So for the NFL have their experts and stuff, and I don't knock that. That's who they deem to be their experts. But it's impossible for you to see all the talent in the country. Am I right or wrong? Or am I?
Oh yeah, I mean, no, you're absolutely correct. It's just it's too much. I mean, it's just like when just going back. Let's even go back. I'll stop at high school. Won't go down to the middle school levels, but high schools. All the high school players in the country can't get that opportunity because a lot of them don't get seen, whether it's the district that they're in, the community that they're in, the lack of media coverage they're in. And then you matriculate from high school to college. Again, then you go from college to the professional levels. You just can't see everybody. So that's why an organization like yours provides that opportunity for those other individuals that just got overlooked. It may not be a matter of them not being good enough. It just be a matter of that they simply were overlooked and or opportunity. Just space becomes full at some point in time. A team can only hold but so many players, whether it's 53-man roster, 55-man roster. At some point in time, there's a cutoff. So again, the MFL provides that opportunity for these young men to continue playing the sport they enjoy.
And just being Devin Abbott and playing, I'll do that with you for a minute. The Lions Football League started last year, and they asked me, they was telling me about it, and I made a comment, and everybody thought I was crazy. I told them that the concept is all wrong. I said, I'll give it a month, I guarantee it'll fold. And as you know, it folded. So everybody was like, wow. The same thing with the XFL came out, and I told them it wouldn't work because of the concept. DC, you have a lot of professional teams here and organizations here, and it has to be. Even the Redskins have not been playing to their full potential, and they're going to make some changes. I think they'll do a lot better this year and from now on. But even there, you have diehard Redskin fans; they're going to go there. But to bring a Nova product in here right after the Super Bowl, come on now. I mean, I just thought, then people called me and said, you must have been a psychic. Well, maybe because of the virus come. No, whether the virus happened or not, that wasn't going to last. I say to people, stick to what you know. McMahon, wrestling is his thing. Don't toy with football because you are another billionaire. You ain't got nothing else to do. Let's try this. You know what I mean? People's lives are at stake. You have to, just like when the Lions League folded, it was kids left out in the cold. I mean,
sure.
Not beating them up or nothing, but I'm being realistic about what happened. But you hear nothing said about these things. Now, the XFL folded. They could have came back next year, but what they say, big bold statement, we will not return. This is it for this. And they filed charge. You hear nothing said about that. Now, any little thing anything come up with the MFL, you got people always got something to say. But, I'm one of those type, what people trying to do, I'm true to. That's why we get ready to celebrate 25 years. And the reason that we're not going, as you know, Coach, because we value these young players, our coaching staff, everybody a part of the MFL and the MFL Nation. We value that. We don't just say, oh, well, this is our break, we're going to play. No, for one thing, this is serious. A virus that they know nothing about. They have no cure for it. Secondly, more importantly, the people that did distract the virus, they don't know whether they will they catch it again, even if they got some immunization from it and got help for it. But these are the questions that no one have ever asked answered. You know what I mean, Coach? And these are
Sure.
the things that we're worried about doing. We worry about these young men, so that's why we moved the season to 21. We definitely excited about Africa, Coach. What do
Yeah,
you
well,
feel
I
about
mean,
that?
that's a great thing. When you mentioned that to me and showed me the plan for that, for that new move and that new league over, across the water there. I mean, it's just, again, it provides another great opportunity for young men to do what they enjoy doing. You talk about starting teams over in the African nations. As we know, sports as a whole they've transcended over the years, where they've expanded across the globe. Canada's been playing football for a number of years now. China, Sweden. We can name a whole list. America, Samoa, all of those countries have been playing football a little while, and you just don't know it. But they're getting better and better and better with each year. So now to provide that opportunity over in African nations is just a blessing, and it's a testament to your organization and its endurance through the test of time. So I certainly applaud you and your committee members for seeing that vision. The sponsors, those that believe in what you're doing. You talk about getting ready to celebrate your 25 years. I mean, that's a long time for an organization to be existence in this world.
Right.
You mentioned how the AA, the Alliance Football Alliance, they folded. XFL. A lot of things have to really come to fruition in order for an organization to sustain itself. So again, take my hat off to you guys and what you've done over the years and what your plans for continuing in those efforts.
And I noticed I have people in Africa that we're working with because we have the whole sports commission over there working with the MFL because we're bringing the MS-16 franchise over there, and they were just pointing something out to me. Not that I didn't know it. They said, "Mr. Miles, watch how many Africans get drafted in the NFL this year." Now, did you notice that, Coach?
Yeah, I did. It's ironic you mentioned that. I certainly did notice that. And again, that's been, I don't want to call it a trend necessarily, but certainly, I've even seen it on my levels, high school and in college, just guys are taking advantage of opportunities, greater opportunities that present themselves. So why not even on that level beyond the college level, going on to the professional level, in this case, the MFL and the NFL, for those that we've seen getting drafted. As you mentioned, there'll probably be a few more, and that's really nothing new. There's certainly been those over the years that have, born and raised in African nations. I'm thinking of a name that's escaping me right now, running back for the Chiefs years ago.
Christian Okoye.
There you
Now
go.
you making
Thank
me
you
say
very
my
much.
age, and I'm looking like you say on my face, Coach.
That's
You
all
tricked
right.
me. Next time I'm not going to say it.
That's all right. I'm sporting my Corona beard too, so don't worry about it. We're in the same club.
You
But
know,
so certainly there's guys that have come from those nations over the years in multiple sports, not just in football. So we're seeing it across the globe, and in the end, it's a blessing because it's opportunity for young men, for young people, just because we know it's transcending in other sports as well. But it's an opportunity for young people to do what they enjoy doing.
absolutely. And also, I want to state what we were alluding to earlier, but they had these teams playing in these other countries, but people want to see American football played with American players. See, that's the whole key to this. But we're going to train African players to play and stay at home. You follow what I'm saying, Coach?
Absolutely.
And this also gives us opportunity for you got a lot of guys in coaching that paid their dues and can't get a job in the NFL. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I look at the Rooney Rule, and I'm not a big advocate of it because I tell people in a minute the Rooney Rule in the state that you have to interview African Americans. They don't say anything about hiring them.
Hiring, correct.
So that need to be changed. But what we want to do, we want to offer, when we say the MFL is the laboratory of change, we want to give these guys, former players, an opportunity be GMs here, coaching. You know what I mean? Now, the stigma with the MFL and people always trying to match us up, and I tell people the NFL is who they are and we who we are. Give us a chance. If you know anything about the NFL, the 100 years of the NFL had 80 some teams at one time, but they was folding and all that. But see, people don't know about that. See, I'm telling my age now again, Coach. But see, people don't understand the NFL didn't get where they was today all in one night. You know that.
Absolutely not.
Time. But I tell these young players, and then I want to talk to you about HBCUs in a minute, but we want people to know these are franchise opportunities. We will get there when we have owners of these franchises and we're able to pay. But all I'm saying now is we're providing an opportunity for these young men. Okay? And, bear with us. The NFL took 100 years to get where they're at today, right? 100 years. They got 75 years on them, right, Coach?
Yes, sir.
75 years. Give us a break. But, we'll get there eventually. And it's something people have to understand. No matter what you do, you can't stop change. And if you don't learn history will repeat itself. You know what I mean? So Absolutely. These are the type of things I'm trying to point out to people. We're not lying to players about nothing. No, if I could pay you $100,000, you have to prove that you deserve to get $100,000. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So these are the type of things. Give us an opportunity. We'll be there, but we want to give guys an opportunity to play. Now, just moving the conversation a little bit. HBCU schools, we're going after. Now, the NFL just goes to show you it ain't nothing but God. And when God's for you, everybody can be against you. They say they're going to do a combine for the HBCUs. They didn't say an NFL combine tryout. They said an HBCU tryout, right?
Correct.
Understand the language and things. That's what I'm not a lawyer, but in documents, you even know that, Coach. It's always in the language and things. Sure. They weren't going to do that. I get and I know. They hadn't had their draft yet. They weren't going to sign that one guy. To me, it's just a dog and pony show. That's all it was. Now, you got all these kids coming back and all that. They come there and work out. We're signing 53 players on each roster. And we got 16 rosters over here now. Because the other 16, it's too late. They're going over Africa. They committed. We committed over there. You got 16 rosters here that we can sign 53 players. Now, you get a chance to stay home where you're still relevant. We're in North Carolina. We got the Oilers down there. South Carolina, we got the Outlaws. Arkansas, we got the 49ers. Tennessee, we got the Patriots. You follow what I'm saying, Coach? Florida, we got the Bears. So we have teams in place, franchise in place in your area, in these areas. So you don't have to go anywhere. Sure. You're still relevant. You not know it's all Americans going to be walking the street after this.
Oh, for sure.
And it's not because they're not good enough. Give us your input and your expertise in coaching college and everything. Try to rationalize that to me because I can't seem to get it. We keep thinking if we can't go to the NFL, then we don't want nothing. I don't understand that. Maybe you can help explain that to me and explain to these young men what's going on and why they're trying to do that when you're going to overlook an opportunity to start and play. We're playing before boys club, high school, college, and the NFL. We're playing all before all of them start.
Well, it's not one simple answer, to your argument here, Mr. Miles. I think there's multiple things that come into play, when you start talking about, the ethnicity of NFL players, in terms of how it relates to HBCU student athletes. I think we've seen over the years that a lot of talent has come out of HBCUs. A ton of talent. You have NFL Hall of Famers that have come out of HBCU. So in one light, I think there's some positive to the degree that the NFL has recognized that over the years. They thought enough, and I'm not saying it's the end all be all, but they thought enough to have a separate combine for those student athletes. And the reason I think that is and was going to be somewhat vital, and I'll side with them for a minute here, just because inevitably what happens is a lot of those HBCUs don't have enough quality players to draw NFL teams to conduct a pro day at their respective locations. You take an Ohio State, University of Maryland, University of Maryland, Penn State, and all the bigger schools, they have enough players and or prospects that warrants the time of those NFL personnel to come directly to their respective campuses. Some of the smaller HBCUs just don't. If they're lucky, there may be one individual on that campus that has that opportunity annually. So what happens, I think, the fact that they even considered this combine, I would look at it as a positive, because if nothing else, you provide a forum for which these athletes can now go and showcase their abilities potentially for the next level. Before, they've had to really strain themselves to try to get to another campus where pro days were being held. And I'll be honest, I know over the years I've heard horror stories from players that have tried to get to some of these larger institutions but have not been allowed. Mm-hmm. So I think in retrospect, again, having this HBCU combine, it didn't take place, as we know, unfortunately, due to the coronavirus hitting us. It's a blessing. It would have been interesting to see it being held and to see how many athletes would have been considered and or even drafted from that combine, just to do I know it would have only been year one, but just to see truly from a numbers perspective, how many more of those individuals were potentially recognized due to that combine. So again, it's unfortunate that we didn't see that this year, but I certainly hope they retain that for the years ahead, because as we know, you can find talent anywhere, and there are a lot of names, big names, that have come from a lot of HBCU programs over the years that have gone into the NFL and done very, very well. Again, as we talk about all those great things, it still comes back. Where does the MFL come into play with that? It's here. It's available for those that don't have that opportunity. Everyone can't go and play in the NFL. We talked about limited rosters. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. So the fact that the MFL has expanded now, 16 teams over in Africa, 16 teams here in the United States, it's another opportunity for these young men to compete, another opportunity for them to showcase their talents. And if the NFL is in their cards, then maybe to come. If it's not, the MFL is here, and they can play there whatever number of years in the MFL, and they can say that they've lived their dream. And then at some point in time, cleats got to be hung up, jerseys got to be hung up, and you got to move on with life. That's on any level. But, let's face it, there are a lot of opportunities out here for young men to go and exercise their talents and abilities.
Absolutely. And don't get me wrong. I'm happy for anybody doing anything. I would like to see these young men get an opportunity. And I don't want our listeners to think that we're bashing it in the NFL. But we also, I want them to, maybe I need to restate that fact that we going to sign 56 players per roster. And I'm saying the fact that, they can't go right, because the NFL, you got all these big schools. But we would love to come down and do an MFL combine, okay? Because we know we're going to sign people. And that's the great thing about the MFL. We are a developmental league. Some of these guys, if you got a shot, they still might not be developed enough. That's where we come in there. And the great thing that people need to understand, every other professional league has a minor league system. I know the NFL think, or I'm not going to speak for them. I know most people think that the college is the NFL minor league system, but you and I know these kids not developed. You get in there, it's a whole different animal. You know what I mean, Coach?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think what you just stated is true. I mean, you look at basketball, all the leagues
everybody else
that they have for basketball before you get into the actual NBA. Let's look at baseball, all the farm teams that they have. So as you just mentioned, a lot of these professional sports have opportunities beyond college for student athletes to continue to play, to try to improve themselves. And as you just mentioned, that's why the MFL is here as a developmental league, giving those that need that extra time to perfect, if you will, and to get better at their craft, it's allowing that for them.
And your expertise is great because I do sometimes be grounded, but when we met with the NFL, I didn't want anything. All I wanted to show them what we had, and we are a developmental league. That's
Sure.
all that's all we wanted. I told them we're not trying to be nothing else. We're not trying to be another league. We are a developmental league. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it would be good to have I just want to alliance with them. But the NFL been going all these years, and we will continue to go. So also, I want to point out, and as me and you talk a lot, we have opportunities for agents here, marketing, PR, broadcast journalists. We have the MFL network and stuff. We need a lot of things that we need. We have opportunities here at the MFL coaching. We're going to have to take we need to take a lot of people over Africa because we're going to need coaches. Graphic designers. We need, we need people in all these different capacities. You have these colleges here. This is right here. We're here in the nation capital. No, we're not in New York, but we love being right here when we're initiated. We're not on Park Avenue, but we right down here, close to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. We 2 blocks from there. You know what I mean?
Right.
We have so many opportunities. We need to take a lot of qualified coaches over to Africa because we need to train these guys in the rules. Our rules are the same as the NFL. We're not doing nothing different like the not beating up the XFL. I think that was atrocious what they was doing. I mean, don't even mess with the game up like that. But these are opportunities that we have, Coach. Also, I'm going to just bring in our GM from down in Georgia, the GM down, Mr. Glover. Scottie Glover. Stay right here with us, Coach. All right, how you doing, sir? Scottie.
I'm doing good. Good. How you doing, Mr. Miles?
Oh, everything fine. I got with us here. Our consultant, Mr. Kenny Lucas here. Kenny been doing a tremendous job with us, helping us. And we're going to just chime in the conversation. This right here is Scottie Glover. He's the general manager of the Georgia Warriors, one of our franchise we have down there. And we just want to bring you on, Scottie. And first of all, we want to welcome you to the MFL family. I know you've been doing working hard down there, getting things together. But tell us how things coming along down there.
Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me on the show and just as part of the league in general. We've been working hard to put this thing together down here since the last quarter of 2019. Working hard to, first of all, build a buzz about the Georgia Warriors down here, get our name out there, get people interested and curious about what we're doing down here with the Georgia Warriors and the MFL as a whole. It started off good at the beginning of the year because I had a few interns already hired. I had some fundraiser interns and some marketing interns ready to roll, and I hired a staff. I had 7 coaches that I had hired on staff. That staff has been depleted a little bit just because we had to cancel the 2020 season, and some of them couldn't commit to hanging on for the 2021 season. So I'm down to only 2 of those 7 coaches that I initially hired that are still steady and ready to go for next year. And I still have 2 fundraising interns and 2 marketing interns that are all ready to go. In fact, I got the marketing interns working on compiling a list of all of the local media down here in Atlanta, specifically and Georgia as a whole, that we're going to be sending to you guys at the league once we get that list compiled to send out a media blast to get everything rolling and start building some hype for next year. So that's where we are right now. I also hired an assistant manager who's got a little bit of experience already working in front office in pro sports, and she's going to be a big help for me to put everything together. She's got a marketing background as well. I'm going to have her head up the actual marketing.
Okay, well, that's great. I realized that this virus did not help anything, and that's why we canceled the season for 2020. We value you guys and your health, and we want to make sure that we have everything together. And then now it gives you even more time. And I was talking to people that came up from Georgia. They're excited about everything. You had an opportunity to talk to Mr. Tate and a lot of the radio stations down there. I met a lot of them down at the Super Bowl. And when I told them you were there, they said, "Oh, we're going to reach out to them." So, we're not worried about how things will manifest itself, because I know it will be all right down there. We just want to make sure that you understand you can call us if you need anything in terms of what has to do with the league. But you got a lot of HBCU schools down there, and I was talking to some people that came up, and they already have got in contact with you, and they up here now. When they get back, they say they're going to talk to you further, and they have a connection with the HBCU schools down there. So I'm excited about what you're doing. And Scottie Glover, it's just what the MFL was talking about. Young men such as yourself, give them an opportunity. Give them a little bit of your background, Scottie.
Well, I'm originally from New Jersey, born and raised. I'm a Jersey boy. Was a three-sport star in high school at Linden High School in Linden, New Jersey. I played football, basketball, and I ran track. Was able to earn a scholarship in football to Bucknell University upon graduation. So that's where I played my college football. I was only able to play 2 seasons there before my knees gave out on me. I got a bad case of tendonitis in both knees. So I wound up having to give up on the chase to try to get to the NFL. This was back when modern medicine wasn't as good as it was.
Right.
Put some tape and spit on what I had back then. Nowadays, and get guys right back out there. But I'm old, and we didn't have all of that kind of luxuries back then. So I decided to not go under the knife and wind up pursuing my football career in a different way. But when I got back home to Linden, New Jersey, I kind of just did what I saw the previous players from my high school do in the past, where they would just kind of come down to football practice whenever they had free time to help us out. So I found myself doing the same thing. Whenever I had free time, I would just go down to my local high school practice and just walk on the field and, "Hey, coach, I'm here. I'm gonna go help over with the defensive backs today," and just kind of started to get my feet wet. Then I wasn't even actually in the space of pursuing football as pursuing coaching football as a career at that point. I was just kind of loving the game, wanting to give back to the game, to my local high school and community, and I wanted to see my high school beat all of the rival teams, just like I did when I was a player there. So I went to help out, and I just fell in love with the teaching aspect of coaching, helping kids and future generations realize their potential in football, and ultimately what kind of propelled me into wanting to pursue coaching as a career is the ability to help those young men be able to attain a free education through football. So I coached at my local high school on and off for about 2 or 3 years before I moved down here to Georgia. When I moved down to Georgia, I really didn't have any kind of connections like I did, obviously, back home in New Jersey where I grew up. So I had to start from the ground up. I remember driving through a park one day, and I saw a sign for cheerleading and youth football registration. I'm like, "Hey, if they got cheerleaders and football players, they're going to need coaches."
Right.
I walked into the building and said, "Hey, I'm a football coach. I don't know nothing about what y'all are doing down here, but I want to give back to the community and be a part of the community moving forward, and help these kids out." Obviously, youth football is something that very much needs coaches because it's a voluntary position. They don't really have many good coaches at that level. Most of the coaches on youth football teams are just someone's dad that have time. Maybe they played a little bit of high school football or college, or maybe not. But they definitely need a lot of help. So I kind of entrenched myself into that when I moved to Duluth, Georgia, down here. I took a youth team, coached them all the way up into the 8th grade, where I ran into one Billy White Shoes Johnson. He was the head coach of the 8th grade.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
think you know him, huh, Coach Lucas?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Uh-huh.
So I coached with him. I coached with him on his 8th grade team that year. The following year, he got promoted to the freshman high school football coach. So I just moved up with him with that same team. We took all of those same players, moved up into the Duluth High School freshman team. And, after that season is when I approached Billy Johnson, to be my mentor and to help me to actually pursue a real career coaching football. He was the one that actually helped me land my first actual paying job coaching football, where I coached junior college football at North Georgia Sports Academy with Tim Freeman, who's also from Duluth.
Wow. Yeah, that's the type of thing that what we look for in the MFL. And because I know some people get an opportunity because their father coaching in the NFL end up being the head coach and offensive coordinator, end up in the Super Bowl. Never coach, never came the ranks that you came. You have a lot of HBCU schools down there, and Coach Lucas, I know you're familiar with down that way. I'm not familiar with nothing in the South. I went to Arizona State. I'm learning about HBCU schools because I'm from Washington D.C. and we have Howard here. Won't you chime in on that, Coach Lucas, and tell us a little bit about about schools down there in the South, right?
Well,
Coach.
this is just, I mean, certainly you got to admire the sports down there. I mean, when you start going south, football is football, and football is everything to the student athletes there. So, and so you got to appreciate that as a coach, as a fan, as a former player, whatever role you may have played, you understand that it's nothing like getting on that field, particularly start talking about Friday night lights and Friday night football. The folks everywhere, but certainly going down south, they love the game for that alone, and there's nothing else like it. What else is there to do on a Friday night? If you're not at a high school field somewhere, or maybe even a youth field somewhere, then you're not where you're supposed to be in the fall. So, all I can do is take my hat off and applaud all those programs down there, and we can look at any teams' current and or past rosters, and you can see that a lot of talent has come from a lot of those teams down in the South.
And also, Scottie, I want you to know that you know anything you need, and you will be. It give you opportunity to kind of, because of this pandemic, with this virus, you get a chance to see Coach Lucas. So when you get a call from Kenny Lucas, you know who he is. Because mostly, besides him or Fred, he'll probably call you more than Fred, because Fred have to do his show up here and stuff. And as you know, a lot of stuff closed down here. Even our station, we haven't been in the station or the office in a month. So that's why we're using this platform. But you will be getting calls from Coach Lucas and ask you how's everything going and what you need. And I'm definitely going to talk to some more people down there because they know about you. And I told them I'm gonna have you on the show. They get a chance to put a face with the name. And also want to commend your wife for helping, because I know she's really doing all the work, Scottie. Don't do that, because my other half do the same thing for me. So
She don't do all the work. She just do all the hard.
okay, but my other half helped me a lot. But we were just talking a little bit about, we want to get into this very briefly about the HBCU schools and what we're trying to do as the MFL. We want these guys to understand that the MFL is here. And I'll let you just expand on that just a couple of minutes after Coach Lucas said the significance of the HBCU school is plenty of talent there is going to stay home after this over with. What can we do, even down there? We're going to handle the media part of it to reach out to these different individuals. I'll go to you first, Coach Lucas.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head there. It just, I think the HBCUs need to understand that there's another outlet. And this is no slight on the MFL. However, as we know, over the years, it's just not. It gets superseded by the NFL. So a lot of people have that dream of playing in the NFL, and once that dream is not realized, they sort of, just dismantle all hope. And what I think, you're trying to espouse now is that, hey, guys, there is still hope. Here's a developmental league in the MFL that will allow you that opportunity to continue playing the sport you love. And if it's in your cards, you could still make your way. You may have to go around the corner, down the alley, over a couple tree stumps to get to the NFL, but you can still get there if that's truly your desire. But I think the bottom line is what we have to realize: it's not in everybody's card to play in the NFL, but the MFL is here as a developmental league. And I think it's one thing, you touched upon a little bit, Richard. It's not just about players in the MFL. It's about everybody. It's about the whole network. Guys like yourself, Scottie. It's about guys wanting to expand themselves to become general managers, to become coaches, to become marketing majors, videographers, and those other facets of sports that people don't always think about. When we hear sports, the first thing you think about is the athlete. But no, there's a lot more that goes into any league, into any program, to any organization before the guys can actually hit the field. So I think that's another point that needs to be expanded upon, is that this league is not just for those athletes. It's for those others to expand upon those opportunities off the field as well as those athletes on the field.
Okay, I also want to give you a few minutes before we wrap up, Scottie, to let people know that here's the general manager of the Warriors down in Georgia. Okay, and give you an opportunity to reach out to the people down there, because we have a big following. People are watching it even more now because it's pandemic. And I tell everybody, God, God's in charge. You know what I mean? People think they're in charge, but God's in charge. And I want you to just touch on a little synopsis of what Coach was saying. And you down in Georgia, go ahead.
Well, we do have quite a few HBCUs down here in Georgia. Mainly the ones that are kind of right in the middle of Atlanta are Clark Atlanta and Morehouse. There's a plethora of talent at both of those schools that often get overlooked for the next level. But guys that have a big local following, guys that are uber talented, and guys that want to continue pursuit onto the NFL and get to that big day in the NFL and further their career in football. One thing that I did, I reached out to all of the coaches in all of the local colleges here in Georgia. Every single college in Georgia that has a football program. I reached out to the head coaches over there to let them know about what we're doing and that we're looking for players, and to see if they have any guys that they would recommend that they thought might be interested. Most notably, out of that venture, I got in contact with the former quarterback at Clark Atlanta, and he just recently led conference in both passing yards and passing TD. So we're excited about bringing him on board. And his name is Charles Stafford. I got him through head coach Tim Owens down there at Clark Atlanta. And as far as the players that I've come across, we're looking at possibly making him the face of our team and the leader of our team. And what we hope that's going to do is actually snowball into him actually helping bringing us more players, because he's had an extensive playing career down here in Georgia through youth, high school, and college football. I'm sure he knows of a lot of other players especially players that he's going to want to block for or protect his blind side and such like that, that he might want to bring along with him. So he's going to start bringing in guys one by one and guys that can be the face of our team and be leaders of our team and kind of task them with also helping us to recruit players because they know the players. They know the players a lot more.
Absolutely. Players bring players, as you know, Coach Lucas. Also, I wanted to point out, and this might be a little bit for your time, Coach Scottie, Mr. Jim, but I'm dating myself. But a lot of people don't realize Barry Word played in the minor league as well. You know, a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know one of the best defensive linemen in the NFL came to the minor league system. You know, he made all pro up there in with the Arizona Cardinals and stuff. We have a lot of players that come out of the minor league system. You know, Eric Swan. A lot of people. Our president Bobby Wilson said, "Miles, who is this guy? He went before me." Eric Swan came out of the minor football league. You know what I mean, Coach? And because a lot of people understand that when you do your research on this, but at that time they call it something else, but it was really the minor league, the minor football league. That's what it was. Sure. And now it's more defined since I founded it and everything. And not, you know, I just think that this is a great opportunity for young men and people. Even don't forget to reach out to the School of Business, Scottie, because they have guys want to be in sports agents. You know what I mean? You have marketing people. Don't forget to reach out to them as well. All the schools looking for internship. Coach, being assistant head coach up at Morgan and coaching up at Howard, interns, they look for these opportunities. We had kids come all the way from USC to intern here with the MFL front office. I mean, that's come across country. You know what I mean, Coach? You know, Coach Lucas kind of scared me, but I'm glad they have family members down here. But they wanted to come here and intern. So that speaks volumes for us at the fact that, and they tell you, they say we learned so much here about how a professional franchise is ran. You know, so what is your take on that, Coach Lucas?
Well, I think that's the beauty of sports. You know, I think I might have touched base on it a little bit earlier. That's the beauty of it. It brings, you know, all of us together from different walks of life. It's not just those athletes on the field. You got guys and young ladies that play a big part in the production of athletics. You know, whether you're behind the camera, whether you're in front of the camera,
right?
You know, whether you're producing the video, you know, there are a lot of components of this game that provides opportunities for individuals to learn that may help propel them to the next level, help propel them to those other opportunities they want to engage in. So I think it just provides that forum for those individuals to do that. We're a better place to do that than with MFL. You can come on board and you can take on these roles. Again, it's some may be on a voluntary basis right now, but it's providing that experience. And as we talk about the MFL, you know, being developmental league, we're developing in, you know, and you guys are developing in every aspect of the game, not just on the field, but off the field as well.
Absolutely. And a lot of people, I met some great guys, you know, Gus Johnson. I mean, he's a big for the sports networks now, for Channel 9, NBC and all of them. I remember when they was in Howard. They used to come up to the chief's office and sit down and talk. Say, well, man, what do you think about this? I'm getting into pro. I remember all these young men. And to see them now, it's just phenomenal. And I had got players from Howard University, great players from Howard. Fortunate enough to use Howard University Stadium. These got some of the collaboration that the MFL had. And I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world. And down there with you, Scottie, I mean, you're a fixture down there now, but you would have been safe both places because even if you'd have stayed up in New Jersey, because we got the Raiders up there, you know what I mean, and that's your home. So it's not. We are looking for great GMs. We're not looking for nobody that we getting off the street and say, hey, you want a coaching job? We want somebody with credibility. Coach Luke is gonna make sure of that. We're not just getting nobody. We want people that understand the game because you're going to get people, you're going to get these young men from Division I schools and stuff. And if you don't know what you're talking about, they're going to know it. You know what I mean? And there's nothing worse than having somebody trying to tell you how to do something that's never did it themselves. You follow what I'm saying, Coach? It makes sense, Lucas. And Scottie down there, I will be, whenever this blows over, I will be traveling down there. I was down there last year at the Super Bowl, and I had some good people down there in the media down there and stuff. They're going to fight you on. And as soon as the guy get back from up here, he's going to call you and everything. So we got some people that's going to really help you because you got a lot of people down there want to see this thing work. So don't think, after a while, so many things, people going to run to you all at 1 minute. You're going to say, what's going on? So I'm just letting you know, don't worry about how things are going because of the pandemic. I haven't been out the house only to go to the store, and that's it, Scottie. I ain't going out there. You know what I mean? I asked Coach Luke, I'm not going out there, man, because I'm serious. And I just want you to know that we appreciate the job you're doing. We're going to make sure that you have everything you need to be successful down there. And all over, Jim. And as you can see, we will have the show will be on Wednesdays and Fridays. We will have different GMs come on all the time. So at 5 o'clock on Wednesday and Friday. So you will have a platform to talk about what you're doing. Your Facebook page, put your content up. We will always get in contact. And every Saturday morning, it come on Inside the MFL on radio, DC radio. But I just want to say, when you came to DC, we talked a long time in the office, walked around everything. We got, even you was a little surprised that this was as big as it is, and we're going to be all right. And like I say, the MFL going to be here. We're going 25 years, and this is the first time in 25 years we postponed the season because we think of your help, the players' help, and everybody in the MFL nation. So, I want to thank you guys for coming on, and this is going to be one of several times you guys be coming on. I want to thank Coach Lucas. He do a lot of consulting for us, and like I say, it gives everybody a chance to, because we can't see each other. You get a chance to see each other now. So I thought it was, I thought it made sense for us to keep our platform going. And I tell everybody, the MFL, we're on all the social media. Our website is MFLishere.com. So I mean, this is the laboratory of change. And I made this statement, in closing out, I just want to say the MFL is here. We're going to be here. And we just want guys, like Coach Lucas say, we want you to understand that you have another alternative. In closing, real quick, you have something to say, Scottie, before we close out?
Well, I just wanted to thank you guys for having me again on the show and in the league. Just want everybody to be safe out there, practice social distancing, and just stand still and let God move. You're going to see us through this whole thing.
There you go. Coach Lucas.
Hey, just say I'm very appreciative of the time spending with you this afternoon, Richard Miles and Scottie. It's a pleasure to meet you and see you on these airways. So I'm just, I'm excited about all these opportunities, Mr. Miles, that you're providing for, people in this world and people in the athletic realm. As you said, the MFL is a laboratory of change. So we welcome that and certainly look forward to it.
And, like I say, we do have quality people with this organization, just to name a few, Jamie Dukes is here, Bobby Wilson, Dave Garnett, we have Miss Kelsey Nelson to handle media and Joyce Harris. I mean, we're excited about these people. We definitely not going to forget our chief strategy officer, Mel Forbes. But I just want to say, we'll look forward to seeing y'all next week, which is Wednesday, for another edition of Inside the MFL. I'm your host, Richard Miles Sr. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.